Once you start throwing yourself at someone, you become worthless in their eyes. So when I find out that Lydia, the campus beauty who rejected my confessions 99 times, actually fell for me the moment we met, but strung me along just to enjoy the thrill of being chased, rejecting me over and over again, I decide I am done with her. I go straight to my advisor and secure a guaranteed spot in the overseas study program. Before I leave, committed to making a clean break, I plan to cut ties with Lydia once and for all at her birthday party. But when I arrive, the party is already in full swing. Familiar voices spill out from the private room. Why is Ethan late? Don't tell me he went off to prepare some big surprise. He's already confessed 99 times. Number 100 is right around the corner. Lydia, you really should say yes this time. Exactly. Everyone knows you like him. If you turn him down again, your almost boyfriend might actually walk away for good. Listening to the girls tease her, Lydia looks utterly confident. Ethan loves me too much to walk away. When he confesses again, I'll say yes. That tone, so certain, so self-assured, strikes me as nothing short of pathetic. A next time? There will be no next time. In the 2 years I spent chasing Lydia, I threw away every shred of my self-respect. I ignored the mockery of countless classmates. Every single day, I found new ways to please her, and not once did she give me anything in return. I had thought about giving up. I had cried alone in the dark more nights than I could count, but every morning I pulled myself together and went right back to chasing her. I had even been willing to give up the overseas exchange placement I had fought so hard to earn, all just to stay by her side. Then one day, I accidentally saw Lydia's phone. My contact name in her phone was my darling husband. Her photo album held over 1,000 pictures of me. But instead of joy, what I felt when I learned the truth was a deep, burning sense of irony and rage. I am exhausted. I am done. All I want now is to disappear from Lydia's world entirely. The moment I push open the door, every conversation inside dies at once. Everyone turns away in unspoken agreement, steering their conversations elsewhere, pretending they haven't seen me. Lydia picks up her drink and rejoins the game, her expression distant and cold, not even glancing up. I look at her and think, what a performance. Faced with a room full of people looking straight through me, I feel no disappointment whatsoever. I walk calmly to an empty seat in the corner and sit down. For the next hour and more, everyone else laughs and chats around me, while I sit alone scrolling through my phone, invisible as a ghost. In the past, the moment Lydia appeared in a room, I would find any excuse to be at her side, steering conversation after conversation just to catch her attention. Even this birthday party took weeks of pestering and a small army of people vouching for me, before she finally agreed to invite me. By any logic, something hard-won should be treated with more care, but seeing me sit there unbothered, relaxed, indifferent, as though her birthday means nothing to me at all, this unfamiliar indifference finally gets under Lydia's skin, and she finds herself stealing glances at me. After the birthday song is sung, and the cake is cut, it is time for gifts. I wait until everyone else has presented theirs. Then I rise unhurriedly, reach into my bag, and hand her a calendar. Everyone in the room stares. It is barely the size of a palm, just 30 pages, a laughably cheap-looking thing. I ignore their reactions, and look directly at Lydia, speaking calmly. Lydia, starting today, tear off one page every day. When you reach the last page, there will be a surprise waiting for you. That is my gift to you, a belated birthday present. Her roommates immediately burst into laughter. So this is the countdown to confession number 100, is it? 2 years and you're still going. That takes serious dedication. You really are that crazy. About Lydia, huh? Swayed by their teasing, Lydia naturally assumes that this is a countdown calendar to a 100th confession. A faint smile tugs at the corner of her mouth, then vanishes just as quickly, leaving her face unreadable. I only said I would consider it. If you reached 100 confessions, I never promised I'd say yes. They have all gotten it wrong. The day she tears off the final page will not be the day I confess. It will be the day I vanish from her world for good. I say nothing to correct them. I just smile lightly and say, Lydia, I've been chasing you this long without making any impression. I'm genuinely curious. What is your ideal type? The question lands, and the whole room falls quiet. Everyone turns to look at her with unreadable expressions. Lydia holds my gaze for a moment, then parts her lips softly. My ideal type. Before she can finish, the door swings open and pulls every eye in the room toward it, in full view of everyone. Julian walks in carrying an elegantly wrapped gift. Lydia's face softens into a warm smile. Happy birthday, Lydia. Her gaze follows the words and settles on Julian completely. She raises a finger, taps the table lightly, and picks up where she left off. My ideal type is someone cheerful and easygoing, clean-cut, handsome, the boy next door kind. Julian has barely stepped through the door and already his face lights up. He hurries to her side, presses his carefully prepared gift into her hands, and urges her to open it right then and there. In an instant, the room's attention shifts, and no one gives the earlier topic another thought. Watching the two of them surrounded by the crowd, I show no trace of hurt. I simply return to my corner seat with a calm expression. For the rest of the evening, wherever Lydia goes, Julian follows. They laugh and talk, shield each other from toasts, share a single slice of cake. I watch them quietly, and memories begin to surface. Lydia was the most sought-after girl at Tsinghua University, but she had always kept every other guy at arm's length. The one exception was Julian. Julian, her childhood friend who had grown up by her side. She would reach up to fix his hair when it fell across his forehead. She walked with him to class and carried his bag. She took bets with girls from other schools on his behalf and challenged them to competitions. Every one of these small favors was a thorn driven straight into my chest, but it was only when I learned the truth that I understood despite growing up together. Lydia and Julian had never actually been close. Julian had always trailed after her, and she had always ignored him. It was only after I came along that she began performing closeness with Julian deliberately in front of me, purely to make me jealous and drive me to chase her even harder. So watching Lydia put on the same performance right in front of me now, I feel nothing but contempt. I set down my glass, get up, and walk to the restroom. I splash cold water on my face and feel my head clear a little. I pull out some paper towels to dry my face, and with my vision blocked, I don't notice that someone has walked in beside me. Not until Julian's snide voice cuts through the silence. Only then do I sense something is wrong. Ethan, you've been chasing Lydia for years, and she still won't give you the time of day, and you still have the nerve to show up at her birthday party? I am begging you. She does not like you. Can you not read the room? You pathetic little simp. His words don't move me in the slightest. I look at him calmly. Are you finished? Julian hasn't expected that. He blinks, thrown off for a moment. Of course not. Do you know what everyone campus calls you? The guy who confessed 99 times and got nowhere? A total simp. You're supposed to be a serious student. Have you got no shame at all? Anyone with eyes can see that Lydia likes me. Why can't you just open yours and accept it? Watching him carry on like that, I remain completely unmoved. I simply shift my gaze from him to the space behind him. Before you go any further, you might want to look behind you. Julian follows my gaze and turns around, confused, and comes face to face with Lydia standing in the doorway. She has clearly been there a while. She has seen everything. The realization hits Julian like a bucket of cold water. The bravado drains from his face instantly, replaced by a pitiful, wounded expression. He rushes to her side, takes her arm, and launches into a rapid string of explanations. Lydia, it's not what it looks like. Ethan started it. He was the one picking on me. But Lydia doesn't seem to care about any of it. She has watched Julian insult me with her own eyes and acts as though she has seen nothing. She glances at me briefly, then slips off her jacket and drapes it over Julian's shoulders. It's windy out there. You're not dressed warmly enough. Don't catch a cold. She takes his hand and leads him back toward the private room. Julian hasn't expected her to react this way either. The fact that she doesn't care at all about him insulting me gives him an immediate confidence boost. He straightens up at once. He throws me one last look over his shoulder, a wide, mocking grin, savoring what he sees as my humiliation. Head down, I don't see it. I ball up the damp paper towel, toss it in the bin, and walk downstairs. The stairwell is quiet, only my footsteps. In the darkness, I replay what just happened and let out a quiet, humorless laugh. When she draped her jacket over Julian just now, her eyes were fixed on me the entire time while her mouth spoke words meant for him. Say what you will, but she is a genuinely impressive actress. If I hadn't already known what she was hiding, I might actually have fallen for it. Outside, heavy rain has knocked nearly every cab off the road. A group of us are stranded at the bar entrance. Lydia calls her family's driver, saying she will take Julian home. It's late. Everyone else is leaving. Isn't it a bit much to just leave Ethan alone here waiting in the rain? Lydia takes the umbrella from the driver. He has legs. He can manage. She doesn't spare me a glance. As she gets in the car with Julian, I watch the car disappear into the rain and turn back to my phone, still trying to hail a ride. I wait over 2 hours in the cold. Only when the rain lets up does a driver finally accept my request. By the time I get home, it is 2 in the morning. I punch in the door code, and the moment my door swings open, the door across the hall opens too. Come home earlier from now on. The sound of your door disturbs my sleep. I notice she is still wearing the same clothes from the party. I understand immediately and smile coldly to myself. I give a non-committal hum and go straight inside. I turn on the light and close the door. By the time I have changed my shoes, a loud slam rings out from across the hall. I pay no attention to it. I change into my pajamas, turn on the air conditioning, and curl up on the sofa under a blanket. This apartment, 6 months ago, after hearing from someone that Lydia had moved out of the dormitory. I had gone out and bought this place specifically because of that. I moved out too, just to become her neighbor. I brought her breakfast in the morning, said goodnight in the evening, engineered chance encounters every single day, all to win her over. And no matter how much warmth and care I offered, she never acknowledged any of it. But when I finally saw through her secret, I realized she had been pretending the entire time. Just like tonight, she's clearly been home for a while, still in her party clothes, unable to sleep because she is worried about me, and the moment she sees me, she resorts to petty complaints. I am tired of watching her say one thing and mean another. I am done playing along. I pick up my phone, open a real estate app, and list the apartment for sale. If I am leaving, I will make it a clean cut. The next morning, the real estate agent comes to inspect the unit. Still half asleep, I open the door and walk her through the basics of the apartment. I am just about to see her out. When the door across the hall opens, Lydia steps out with her car keys, and the moment she sees an unfamiliar woman standing beside me, her brow furrows instinctively. Who is she? My sister-in-law. She came by to drop something off. I say it without missing a beat. The agent shoots me a startled look, but she is a professional. She doesn't give me away. She makes a quick excuse and takes her leave. I go back inside, change, and head out for campus. I turn the corner and find someone blocking the elevator. Lydia. I look up, puzzled. Hadn't she been on her way out just a moment ago? Why is she still here? Lydia meets my confused gaze and says, a little stiffly, I'll drive you to campus today. I have no idea what has gotten into her, so I shake my head and decline, but she is oddly insistent, pressing the offer again and again, cycling through one excuse after another, from you'll be late to it's on my way. It looks like she is about to throw in something about saving the environment, and I have neither the energy to keep arguing nor the time to waste, so I agree. The entire drive passes in silence, not a single word between us. She is so used to me filling every silence with chatter, that this quiet version of me clearly unsettles her. A flicker of unease crosses her mind. This isn't her imagination. Something about me has genuinely changed these past few days, and that change, for reasons she can't quite name, is beginning to frighten her. When we arrive at campus, I unclip my seatbelt, drop a quick thanks, and get out before she can say anything. I walk briskly through the school gates, and notice that everyone I pass is staring at me with strange, loaded expressions. That's Ethan, right? Yes, that's the one trending online. How embarrassing. The murmurs make no sense to me. I pull out my phone immediately, and find a string of links from friends waiting for me. I tap one open, and find that someone has submitted the full story of my pursuit of Lydia to a campus roast board, and it has gone trending. The tag reads, Tsinghua University's #1 simp. I stand there, frozen. The top post under the tag is the original submission, documenting every detail of my 2-year pursuit in exhaustive detail, including the full contents of my love letters. From a distance, I can see a crowd gathered around the campus notice board, which is plastered from top to bottom with copies of those letters, while the crowd laughs and comments freely. Oh please, I am lost in your eyes? That's unbearable. 99 love letters, every single one of them dripping like this. Genuinely unsettling. Isn't he supposed to be the top academic talent at Tsinghua? How does someone that smart become such a simp? The mockery hits something deep. I push straight through the crowd, and tear the letters down one by one. By the time I reach the last one, Julian's sharp voice cuts through from behind me. Lydia, Ethan has confessed to you so many times. How much do you actually like him? Lydia's voice is as cool as ever. She says one word, 0. With both of them now present at the scene, and me standing there having just been publicly humiliated, the laughter from the crowd grows louder and more gleeful. Some in the crowd, eager to fan the flames, aim snide questions at me. Ethan, 99 confessions, and you scored a 0. Shouldn't you try harder? When's confession number 100 going to be? Come on, let's all watch and give you some pointers. I clutch the torn pieces of the letters in my fist, my index finger white from the pressure. Words rise to my lips. I am about to speak, but looking around at the pitying stares closing in from every direction, I hold back. Instead, I raise the torn letters high above my head like a battle flag, and announce to the entire crowd, fine, confession number 100, Central Square, December 3rd, 9 in the morning. All students welcome. Bring your friends. Without waiting to see anyone's reaction, I hold my head high and walk away. I skip my morning classes and go home instead. I tear every last love letter to pieces, burn them to ash, and flush every trace of them down the drain. That weekend, a student club I had nearly forgotten about sends out a message calling for a gathering. I need to hand in my resignation from the club anyway, so I go. But when I push the door open, I find Lydia there. Lydia, who never attends these things, showing up for the first time anyone can remember. I act as though I haven't seen her, and take a seat alone in the corner. The moment they see me, Julian's friends launch into their usual routine. How did Lydia end up agreeing to come? Obviously because Julian loves a good time. Everyone knows our campus beauty only ever listens to him. I have no interest in their little games. I pick up a few tangerines and start peeling them. Once everyone has arrived, the club president kicks things off. I have no interest in playing, but I am pulled in anyway, and have to drag myself through a thoroughly tedious round of truth or dare. After 7 or 8 rounds, Lydia finally loses. The room erupts. The campus beauty draws the card. Kiss any male in the room for 3 minutes. Come on, who's the lucky one? I know she won't pick me. I don't care who she picks. I look down and turn the dice over in my hands. As expected, Lydia chooses Julian, but she has one condition: all the lights have to be turned off. The room goes completely dark, nothing but the sound of breathing. 3 minutes later, the lights come back on. Lydia is already back in her seat. Julian stands there alone, his expression sour, because Lydia hasn't kissed him. I glance at him briefly, hear the president call the next round, and toss my 3 dice onto the table without much thought. 3 ones, the lowest possible roll. Without a word, I draw a card from the pile, the exact same dare as before. The energy in the room spikes immediately. Every pair of eyes bounces between me, Lydia, and Julian. I ignore all of it, give the spinner a casual flick, and watch the needle land on a junior student sitting across from me. For a moment, everyone assumes I'm backing out of something. Sorry to put you on the spot, I say to her. She looks completely bewildered, and is just getting to her feet, when Lydia abruptly shoots up from her seat and kicks her stool over. Before anyone can make sense of it, Lydia cuts in coldly. We've been at this long enough. I'm tired. Time for a break. She says it, and her roommates immediately chime in agreement. The president has no choice but to call an intermission. During the break, a few girls mention they are hungry, and Lydia's roommates promptly drag the guys downstairs to get snacks. They are gone for 20 minutes, with no sign of anyone coming back. The president decides not to wait any longer, and calls the game back into session. I put my phone down, and look around. The junior student is gone. More precisely, every girl in the room has disappeared except Lydia. I don't even need to guess. This has Lydia written all over it, but I have no intention of playing into her hand. So I pick up the 500 milliliter glass in front of me, raise it to the room, and say, my chosen partner has left. Per the rules, I'll take the drinking penalty instead. I tip my head back and drain the entire glass without flinching. Lydia hasn't expected me to choose alcohol over her. Her expression darkens instantly. She stares at my flushing face with cold, heavy eyes, squeezing the dice in her hand so tightly they click. With half the room gone, the game loses its appeal, and the gathering quietly falls apart. I wait until everyone is left, pleasantly drunk, then hand the president my resignation letter, and make my way toward the stairs, one hand on the wall for balance. I have barely reached the top of the staircase when I spot Julian not far ahead. I'm about to look away and slip past him, when he grabs my arm. His eyes are blazing. That look you gave me when the lights came on, what was that supposed to mean? Let me tell you something. The fact that Lydia didn't kiss me only means one thing. She respects me too much to do it in front of everyone. I nearly laugh, but I know nothing I say will get through to him, so I nod. Sure, you're absolutely right. I move to push his hand away and leave, but his grip only tightens, and he keeps going. We struggle back and forth, with my balance already compromised from the alcohol. The tug sends me stumbling backward, and I go tumbling all the way down the stairs. Julian lurches in shock, loses his footing, and comes rolling down after me. The commotion brings people running. Several students who haven't yet left come rushing back. Seeing that we are both seriously injured, everyone panics. It is Lydia who finally makes the call, arranging for us to be taken to her family's hospital. After a full examination, the doctor confirms bone fractures. Without prompt surgery, there is a risk of permanent disability. From the moment she finds us injured, Lydia's eyes have not left me. Watching my ashen face and the sweat rolling steadily down my forehead, she looks as though she can feel the pain herself, her chest tight with it. The operating room is ready, but there is only one surgeon on duty who can perform the procedure. Lydia has to decide who goes in first. She instinctively looks at me and finds me already looking at her. There is none of the warmth or longing she once saw in my eyes, only a flat, still calm, like standing water. That look sends a sharp shudder through her chest. Miss, please decide quickly. Who goes in first? I lie on the stretcher, pale as paper, and in the last second before I lose consciousness, I hear Lydia's voice ring out with absolute clarity. Julian, save Julian first. The doctors wheel Julian through the operating room doors without delay. The moment those doors swing shut, I lose consciousness entirely. When I come to, a full day has passed. I open my eyes, and my first instinct is to reach down and feel my leg. When I feel it there, intact with sensation, I let out a long breath, and tears rise to my eyes. Relief, pure and overwhelming. I still have use of my leg. My parents arrive shortly after receiving the news, and have me moved to a very important person suite on the top floor, where they look after me carefully. 2 hours later, Julian is placed in the room directly across from mine. Lydia walks him in herself, her arm linked through his. For the convenience of the medical staff, both room doors are kept open, giving me a clear view of everything happening across the hall. Julian complains constantly about the pain. Lydia keeps finding new topics to distract him. When the hospital meals don't suit his taste, she goes home herself and prepares a spread of light, easy-to-digest dishes to bring back for him. When he complains that lying in the ward is boring, she sources a steady stream of novelties and entertainment to keep him occupied. Over the 10 or so days of their stay, the two of them are so visibly close that the nurses begin gossiping, speculating about whether the hospital director is about to gain a son-in-law. I listen quietly and say nothing, but I know perfectly well that every bit of it is staged for my benefit. I have closed my room door well over 100 times, and every single time, a nurse appears almost immediately to check on me, which is far too consistent to be coincidence. On the day of discharge, I run into the two of them again in the underground garage. The moment she sees me, Lydia helps Julian up from his wheelchair and gets him into the car. Ethan, I hear you live right across from Lydia. We'll give you a lift. I have no interest in engaging with him. I get in without looking up. When the car pulls up to our building, I decline my parents' help and make my way home alone on my crutches. The elevator rises from the basement to the ground floor. Lydia, who is supposed to be driving Julian home, suddenly steps inside. We look at each other briefly. Neither of us says a word. The elevator stops at the 17th floor. Lydia stands at the threshold but makes no move to leave. I shift my crutches and maneuver past her to step out first. I walk slowly, but she walks even slower behind me, and I can feel her gaze on my back the entire way. When I reach my door and go to enter the code, my crutch slips and clatters to the floor. I have to brace against the wall and lower myself down carefully. My fingers have just closed around it when a shadow falls over me. Lydia has crouched down beside me, perhaps to pick it up, but the moment our eyes meet, she draws her hand back and busies herself tying a shoelace that has come undone. I let out a quiet, sardonic laugh, pick up the crutch, haul myself to my feet, and go inside. After a long recovery at home, the end-of-term exams arrive. Although I am leaving the country soon, my leg is recovered enough for me to get around, so I don't apply for a deferred sitting. I go in and take the exam. The lecture hall has too many stairs for my injury, so I take a seat in the front row of the middle section. Not long after, Lydia walks in supporting Julian. The moment Julian spots me, he immediately complains his leg is hurting and insists on sitting in the front row. Lydia helps him into the seat beside me, then takes the spot against the wall herself. The exam begins shortly after. The instant the invigilator descends the last step of the aisle, Julian flicks a pre-prepared paper ball across the gap and onto my desk. My hand stills on my pen. Before I can make sense of what has happened, the invigilator spins around and snaps at me. I made it absolutely clear before the exam, you may perform poorly, but your integrity is non-negotiable. Cheating is not acceptable. And you do it anyway? Ethan, your results are void. Only then do I understand what Julian has been up to. I am not about to take this lying down. I stand up immediately and demand they check the security footage. Unfortunately, the building lost power that morning, and the classroom cameras never came back online. Watching Julian's expression shift from alarm to quiet satisfaction, I can barely keep my composure. Lydia is sitting right beside Julian. She has seen everything. The invigilator, not wanting to be unjust, calls Lydia forward immediately. The academic buildings at Qingda were funded by Lydia's family. She owes no one any favors, and her reputation for fairness and integrity is unimpeachable. Her word, among both students and faculty, carries absolute weight. After hearing the full account, Lydia raises her eyes and looks at me for a moment. Then she says calmly and evenly, Julian was not the one cheating. Those words land like a verdict. Ethan, what is there left to argue? You cheat, you deny it, and then you try to blame a classmate. Absolutely shameless. I wonder now whether your previous results were also obtained dishonestly. Either way, this incident will be formally reported to the entire university. I stand there and feel something cold close around me. I had invoked Lydia's name because I believed that when it truly mattered, she would stand by what was right. I had not imagined she would give false testimony for Julian's sake, having witnessed every detail with her own eyes. There is nothing left to say. I hold Lydia's gaze for a long moment, then leave without a word. Lydia sees my reddened eyes, and something in her falters. She moves on instinct, rushing out after me and stepping into my path. Ethan, I know Julian was wrong, but he's sensitive. I didn't want people talking about him. Not a single apology, just excuses on Julian's behalf. I'm starting to wonder whether what I saw on her phone that day was some kind of hallucination. So that's your justification for slandering me? He can't handle being talked about, but I can? Lydia, do you think that because I've confessed to you 99 times I must have skin thick as a wall, that I'm somehow immune to humiliation? Seeing me like this, Lydia's composure flickers. She reaches out and takes my hand. That's not what I meant. It's just one exam. You can make up the credits. I'll find a way to make it up to you. What happened today? All of it. Make it up to me? You don't even like me. What exactly do you plan to do? The sarcasm in my voice hits Lydia somewhere she hasn't expected, and she nearly lets the truth slip out. Who said I don't like? She catches herself the instant the words leave her mouth and stops short. Trust me, when the 100th confession comes, I'll make things right. She has come within a breath of promising she will say yes. The old Lydia would never have shown this many cracks, but I've long since gone cold, and I pull my hand free. Then keep tearing those pages. Wait for the last one. Lydia stands there watching me pull away. For the first time, her voice softens. All right, 3 days left. I promise I'll give you an answer you'll be happy with. 3 days before my departure, the apartment, listed for over 2 weeks, finally sells. The agent comes by with the contract. I sign without hesitation. In 3 days, I will be gone. These last few days, I will clear everything out so the new occupant can move straight in. The agent notes the date. I walk her to the elevator. The moment the door opens, Lydia steps out carrying 2 shopping bags. She studies the agent for a moment, then smiles politely. Good morning. The agent replies with a slightly dazed good morning in return. After the elevator doors close, I turn to go, but Lydia calls after me and holds out one of the bags. I was passing by and ended up buying too much. Want some? I glance inside. Candied dried fruit, my favorite. The shop is on the east side of the city. Over 2 hours round trip with an hour-long queue on top of that. She has gone out of her way to buy something she knows I love, then invented a reason to give it to me. I take it without a word and toss it away the moment I get inside. The bag traces a clean arc through the air and lands squarely in the bin. 2 days before I leave, I go to a print shop and spend several thousand yuan printing 10,000 palm-sized cards. I go back to the dormitory and ask a few of my roommates to climb to the roof of the main building on the 3rd and scatter the cards down onto the square below. My roommates have heard everything that has happened recently, assuming I still am not ready to let go. They urge me to reconsider. Come on, after everything she's put you through, why keep doing this to yourself? She really went too far. Your feelings deserve so much better than that. I have already made my peace with everything, but hearing them care like this still brings a quiet warmth to my chest. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Just scatter them for me. I've already hired a cleaning crew to handle the aftermath, and I'm not confessing. What I'm actually doing is saying goodbye. That stops them cold. They stare at me, trying to figure out what I am really up to. I thank them again and turn to go, as they watch me walk away. One of them opens the box and pulls out a card. It reads, Ethan will never love Lydia again. The day before I leave, I go to campus to complete all the remaining formalities, then head home and begin packing. I've only been here 6 months, so there isn't much, but almost everything is connected to Lydia in some way. I find a few boxes and fill them. The scarf I spent 2 weeks knitting for her. I cut it into a tangle of loose threads. The ceramic vase she donated to a charity auction, which I went to extraordinary lengths to buy back. I smash it to pieces. Every love letter I wrote for her through sleepless nights, I feed into the shredder. The moment all of it hits the bin, everything between Lydia and me will become the past. In the end, only 2 pieces of clothing remain. The shirt she was wearing the first time we met, and a pair of loose black jeans. I strike a match and burn them both. I stand up and find Lydia standing not far away. I'm just clearing out some things I no longer need, I say, and with that, I turn and go upstairs. That same morning, I am woken at dawn by noise coming from across the hall. I open my eyes, still half asleep, and pick up my phone to check the time, only to find the notification bar flooded with messages. It takes me a moment to work out that all of them are coming from a group chat of around 20 people. A year ago, wanting to learn more about Lydia's tastes, I had quietly added myself to it and simply never left. Lydia had no idea I was there. The ones flooding the chat at this early hour are Lydia's dormitory friends. You're up this early, Lydia. Don't tell me you were too excited to sleep. Obviously, she's been restless since 11 last night. So are you really going to say yes to Ethan's confession this time? My thumb pauses on the screen. Below, I see something rare. Lydia has typed out a long reply. It's not about saying yes. We've always had feelings for each other. This is just things falling into place the way they were always meant to. Stop asking obvious questions and help me pick an outfit. This one or this one. She follows the message with dozens of outfit photos, and the chat explodes. Good grief. Is this really the same Ice Queen who swore off all men? Look at her now. Amid the flood of amazed reactions, Lydia sends just one more line. I love him. There is no one else. Not in this lifetime. Reading those words, I laugh out loud. I can't help it. So many memories surface at once, and seeing that declaration of love, all I feel is the absurd, bitter humor of an O. Henry twist. She loves me, so she rejected my confessions 99 times, and let me become the laughingstock of the entire campus. She loves me, so she ignored me constantly and staged intimacy with another man just to provoke me. She loves me, so she twisted the truth and framed me, and trampled on every sincere thing I ever offered her. If that is what her love looks like, I am not equipped to carry it, and I want no part of it. The messages in the chat come faster and faster. Some of the girls living on campus send photos from the square. It's barely past 7 and the square is already filling up. Everyone's here for the 100th confession. Lydia, get here soon. The confession's about to start, and you won't be able to push through the crowd. I am about to put the phone down when I see a private message from Lydia. I'm heading out now. What about you? I am heading out too, just not in the direction she expects. I find myself wishing I could see her face when those cards rain down, and then again, when she finds out I have already left the country. But I won't be there to see any of it. From this day forward, everything about Lydia is no longer my concern. I finish packing at an unhurried pace, turn to take one last look at the bare empty room, then take out my phone and block every number and account connected to Lydia. When it is done, I feel lighter than I have in years. I pick up my suitcase, turn my back on the room, and walk toward a bright and brand new life. 5 minutes to 9. The square is packed, an impenetrable sea of people, with security guards deployed across the grounds just to manage the crowd. Looking down at the scene from above, my roommates are wide-eyed with a kind of awed excitement. With this many people, whatever happens next will be all over campus within the hour. Good. That way, even after Ethan is gone, no one can keep talking about him behind his back. They are still talking over each other when the clock hits 8:59. Ethan's already at the airport. Let's move. Everyone scatter the cards. Everyone take photos. We need him to see this before his plane takes off. The words have barely landed when the 9 o'clock alarm goes off. Two of them take their positions on either side of the rooftop and push the thick stacks of cards they have placed on the ledge over the edge. In an instant, a blizzard of white cards cascades down from the 16th floor. Down in the square, someone with poor eyesight calls out, "It's snowing!" Everyone looks up. As the cards near the ground, people surge forward on tiptoe, snatching them up and craning to read what is written. At the very center of the square, Lydia stands looking up at the rest of them. Her friends take in the spectacle around them, clicking their tongues in admiration. How many are there? 10,000? Ethan really pulled out all the stops. Listening to their admiring words, Lydia's heart swells with anticipation. She reaches up and catches a card as it drifts past, and turns it over with a small, expectant smile. The moment she reads what is printed there, every expression leaves her face. Her friends lean in, ready to tease her, then see the words, and their eyes go wide. Their voices come out halting and uncertain. This can't be right. There must be some mistake. They keep murmuring reassurances, while picking up more cards from the ground and passing them to Lydia. But every new card they pick up reads the same, in identical printed type. Ethan will never love Lydia again. Now they are truly alarmed. They grab cards from the hands of bystanders around them, but each new card deepens the dread already settling in their chests. How is this possible? Is this still a confession? What is this supposed to mean? Is someone playing a prank? They are still grasping at that explanation when the crowd around them, each with a card of their own, erupts. Well, Ethan will never love Lydia again, so this wasn't a confession at all. He got the whole campus here just to make this announcement. He went to all that trouble promoting it. Well, now everyone knows for sure. With each new wave of reaction, the color drains slowly from Lydia's face. She feels as though something has lodged itself in her chest, cutting off the air to her lungs, leaving only a vast blank emptiness, until her eyes fill with nothing but shock and fear. Across the square, thousands of people crane their necks to watch her, and she does not disappoint. She lets everything in her hands fall, and strides toward the main building with quick, urgent steps. The crowd surges after her. After pushing down the last stack of cards, my roommates are ready to head down, but they have barely reached the door when Lydia appears in front of them. She has come up with her friends, and seconds later, the entire crowd comes flooding up behind them. At the sight of Lydia, my roommates waste no time. Well, if it isn't Chingda's campus beauty, didn't you say Ethan wasn't good enough for you? What brings you to this particular bit of excitement? At the snide remark, Lydia's hands ball into fists and her expression goes dark. You scattered these yourselves? On your own initiative? The words "on your own initiative" set all three of them off laughing. We wouldn't dare act on our own. Ethan paid for every single one of these himself, had them printed, and brought them here. We were just the delivery crew, helping him close a chapter. At that, the students below break into murmurs. Didn't Lydia say she didn't like Ethan? So why does she look like she can't accept this? You clearly don't read enough. In every romance novel, this is called the untouchable Ice Queen knocked off her pedestal, now chasing the guy she once scorned. Honestly, if she's regretting it now, she brought this on herself. Where was all this feeling during the previous 99 times? Every one of those speculative words strikes Lydia like a blade, puncturing the certainty she has held onto for so long. In these 2 years, she has been convinced she knows me completely, that she can read and control my every thought and move, and for a while, things unfolded exactly as she had planned. All 99 confessions played out just as she expected. She had been certain the 100th would be the one that brought it all to a perfect close, a happy ending for both of them. Instead, at the very moment she was most certain of her victory, I delivered a public, devastating blow. She can no longer hold up the composed, indifferent front she always wore. Her true state is laid bare for everyone to see. Where is Ethan? The dorm captain looks at her expression and lets a gleeful smile spread across his face. Nice. He raises both arms and mimics wings taking flight. The confession's over. Of course he flew. Lydia's instinct is to dismiss it as a taunt, but when those last two words land, her heart stops for several seconds. Flew! What do you mean? A cold dread rises in her. She shoves past the guys blocking her way and runs for the rooftop. The rooftop is empty. Not a soul. The stairwells and elevator are completely choked with people. There is no way down. Did Ethan not come to campus at all today? The realization hits her like a wall, helpless, and already too late. Security deploys in full force and gradually clears the crowd from the building. Lydia is ushered downstairs by her friends and steps out to find 7 or 8 sanitation workers, already sweeping up the scattered cards. She bends down in a daze and picks up a card that has been stepped on until it is barely legible. She reads the words again, and this time they hit her differently. The anger and shock from before have given way to something boundless, pure panic, and a fear she has no name for. It's all right, Lydia. Ethan pulling a stunt like this. Of course, she's still upset about being reported last time. Just go back, explain yourself properly, get everything out in the open. She likes you so much, she'll definitely forgive you. Right. He's been chasing you for 2 whole years. 99 confessions. She's just throwing a fit this time. A little coaxing and she'll come around. Everyone around her is pushing her toward the optimistic interpretation. But Lydia's gut tells her this time is different. She can't shake the dread creeping up inside her. She can't stand the noise of their chatter anymore. Overwhelmed and restless, she drives straight back to the apartment. She needs answers. From me, directly. At 10:30, she parks the car and walks toward the entrance of the complex. She notices the sanitation workers clearing out the trash bins. It triggers a memory. Yesterday, she spotted me crouching on the ground burning something. She had sensed something was off but never got a straight answer out of me. Now she wants to know exactly what I burned. But the guard has already replaced the bins and driven off. Lydia has no choice but to head upstairs, card in hand. The elevator doors slide open and she finds herself blocked by several large boxes of luggage. The young man beside them notices and quickly apologizes, rushing to clear the way. She assumes a new neighbor must have just moved into one of the nearby units, but when she reaches her own door, she notices the door across the hall is slightly ajar. She knocks. Silence. The eerie quiet makes her frown. She's about to push the door open when a male voice comes from behind her. Are you the neighbor from across the hall? Hello? I just moved into unit 1705. Pleased to meet you. 1705. The moment she hears those numbers, Lydia instinctively glances at the door sign, and in the next second, she freezes completely, as still as a statue. The young man wheels his suitcase over, still cheerfully introducing himself. Lydia doesn't hear a single word. She turns mechanically, eyes locked on the number plate to her left. 1705. A new resident. Unit 1705. Then where is the original tenant? The agent said he moved out this morning. Do you know him? Could you pass along his contact? He seemed to be in a real hurry. The listing price was well below market. I snagged it at a steal and just want to thank him. A few short sentences and Lydia's mind goes completely blank. She stands there for a long moment before snapping back to reality. She steps to the side and shoves the door open. The apartment is empty. Beyond the standard furnishings, not a single personal item remains. It is as spotless as a show unit. The young man doesn't notice her face slowly draining of color. He keeps grinning. Clean, right? The agent mentioned. The previous tenant spent 3 days packing and even threw away a lot of things he couldn't take. Lydia has no idea how she makes it back inside her own apartment. When she comes to, she finds herself collapsed in the entryway, legs completely numb, her whole body feeling as though it has just been dragged out of water. She pulls out her phone, finds my contact, and types with trembling fingers. Why did you move out? The moment she hits send, a small red dot appears on the screen. The sight of it pierces her, and her gaze goes still for a moment. She refuses to accept it and sends several more messages, each one met with the same notification. Staring at the screen, she feels as though something is lodged in her throat, cutting off her breath. Just as she is on the verge of suffocating, her phone rings. She exhales and answers. Her roommate's panicked voice fills her ear. Lydia, this is bad. Ethan's gone to Italy. I'm at the bulletin board right now. His name is on the exchange student list. Those words hit like a thunderclap, sending tidal waves crashing through Lydia's chest. She tries to push herself up against the cabinet, but her numbed legs refuse to cooperate. She pitches forward and hits the floor, her forehead catching the corner of the wall, splitting open. Blood wells up immediately. Her phone, lying nearby, crackles with frantic voices. What happened? We're on our way! Lydia can no longer process the words. She presses her hand to the wound, her skull screaming with a gnawing, relentless pain. She curls into herself, a low, agonized sound escaping her throat as darkness closes in around her. In her final moment of consciousness before blacking out, the words she has read countless times today are seared into her mind. Ethan will never love Lydia again. Lydia's injuries are severe. She narrowly holds onto her life but is rushed into intensive care. When she finally wakes, 3 days have passed. Her friends are gathered around her bed, visibly relieved, and begin filling her in on everything that happened while she was unconscious. According to what we found out, Ethan arrived in Italy 3 days ago, but he still hasn't completed the enrollment process over there. Apparently, after the list was posted, someone filed a report against him at the school, claiming he cheated on an exam and should have his exchange spot revoked. If the spot gets cancelled, he'll most likely have to come back. Don't worry, Lydia. He's not going anywhere. Lydia's heart lurches. Her eyes fly open. She is still processing everything when a knock comes at the door. One of her friends rushes to answer it. The others turn to look, and in walks the formidable Professor Lin, his expression grim. He gives the figure in the hospital bed a brief cutting glance, his authority so commanding that no one dares meet his eyes. You're Lydia. I hear you were behind the plagiarism incident involving Ethan and Julian. Julian, I'd like a word. At those words, her friends don't linger. They slip out of the ward without a sound. Watching the door close slowly behind them, Lydia raises her chin just slightly. It was me. The confirmation lands, and Professor Lin's face floods with fury. His voice drops to a deliberate, heavy weight. Ethan told me you fabricated evidence. Do you have any idea what you've done to his future? Once that documentation is processed, combined with the public backlash he faced because of you last time, it will follow him everywhere. You will have ruined his entire life. He cared for you, but honestly, has he done a single thing to wrong you in 2 years? Do you hate him so much that you won't stop until you've destroyed him? If you have even a shred of decency left, go to the school right now and tell them the truth. Lydia's head is ringing. Panic floods through her in an instant. She had only done it out of spite, angry that I hadn't chosen her for the club event. She had lied to the supervisor just to force me into making peace with her. She never imagined it would set off a chain reaction of this magnitude. She no longer thinks about her wound. She struggles to her feet, insisting on going to school with Professor Lin to set the record straight. The moment they step out, the medical staff block their path. The doctors refuse to let her leave. They plead with her, but she doesn't hear a word of it. She goes back to school anyway. Professor Lin has already arranged a meeting with the head of the disciplinary committee, in front of the dean of the design school and the supervisor. Lydia names Julian as the one who plagiarized. Julian doesn't see the reversal coming. He panics immediately, bursting into tears and denying everything. The supervisor is equally blindsided by the retraction and doesn't know what to believe. Lydia's expression stays cold as she unlocks her phone and pulls up a photo. This is a letter Julian wrote to me by hand. My family will bring the original shortly. You can compare the handwriting with the note. At that, Julian's crying turns into desperate sobbing. Lydia, it's me. Julian, have you forgotten we grew up together? This is all in the past. Why are you lying? Lydia watches him deny the undeniable, and a flash of contempt crosses her eyes. I never liked you. Everything before was just an act. I'm done performing now, so I'm certainly not going to cover for you. You did this. Own it. All the way to the end. The words have barely left her mouth when Lydia's family arrives with the original letter. After careful comparison, the handwriting on the note is confirmed to be Julian's. The disciplinary committee convenes immediately and issues a school-wide announcement to correct the record. Given the severity of the misconduct, Julian is expelled, and the incident is entered permanently into his academic record. By the time everything is resolved, night has fallen. Lydia steadies herself against the wall and calls out to Professor Lin. Professor Lin, does Ethan know what's been happening back here? Even though the matter is resolved, Professor Lin's anger has not fully cooled. He looks at her without warmth. He was nearly expelled. Of course he knows. Did that fall damage your brain? The scolding stings, and Lydia feels worse by the second. Still, she wants to say something. Now that everything's cleared up, will he come back? That spot is the only one in the entire design school. Ethan earned it on merit. 3 solid years of study in Italy will open every door for him. Why would he come back? Besides, with someone like you still at Qingda University, staying away saves him the grief. If I'd known he'd lose his head over someone like you, I would have talked some sense into him from the start. When it comes to relationships, you have to choose wisely. I am stretched out sunbathing by the sea when Professor Lin's call comes through to tell me everything is fine. I have no idea how he got Lydia to tell the truth, but I thank him from the bottom of my heart. Professor Lin offers a few more words of advice and hurries off to a meeting. I take a sip of the juice beside me and ease back into the beach chair without a care in the world. 3 days ago, I arrived in Italy. I had planned to complete my enrollment right away, but the university called back to China to verify my records and suddenly notified me that there was an issue with my spot, temporarily unresolvable. It is only after asking my roommate that I learned someone had filed an anonymous complaint against me. So I reach out to Professor Lin, explain the situation, and ask him to see what he can do. Professor Lin is one of Qingda University's most distinguished figures, but I know this situation is complicated, and I have prepared myself for the worst. I have to say, ever since Lydia came into my life, my ability to handle pressure has gone up considerably. Even now, staring down the possibility of expulsion, I stay calm. I even have the presence of mind to buy a last-minute flight and come to the coast for a little holiday. Now that everything is settled, I let myself truly relax and start thinking about when to head back and finish the enrollment paperwork. I'm scrolling through flight options when a message pops up in the dormitory group chat. Ethan, Lydia just came by looking for us. She says she wants your contact info. She claims she wants to apologize. We're not falling for it, don't worry. We didn't give her a single digit. You should see her. She looks absolutely wrecked. There's bandaging all around her head. Apparently she was in intensive care just a couple days ago. She's getting exactly what she deserves. Reading their vivid commentary, I instantly picture the scene of Lydia being turned down flat when she asked for my new number. The corner of my mouth curls into a small smile. I send a generous red envelope into the group chat. Thank you all for having my back these past few days. Everything has been sorted. When my 3 years are up, dinner is on me. I'll thank you all properly in person. I book the next flight back to Milan, stretch leisurely, and get to my feet, walking back to the hotel across the soft sand. This time, the enrollment process goes smoothly, not a single hitch. I look down at the stamped stack of documents in my hands, and the brand new student ID I've just been issued, and let out a satisfied smile. Will you be staying in the dormitory or have you arranged your own accommodation? I've already sorted out an apartment. I'm not particularly comfortable with the chaotic social environment of international student dorms, so before the trip, I purchased a small apartment near the campus. I grab my suitcase and head there straight away. When I arrive, I look at the staircase in front of me, try lifting opening the heavy suitcase and let out a long sigh. I am weighing whether to pay someone to help when a beautiful young woman walks up beside me, asking in English if I need a hand. I nod quickly, and Sophia helps me carry the luggage up the stairs, chatting pleasantly as we go. By the time we reach my door, we've just finished exchanging introductions. I bow slightly to thank her. She holds out her reddened palms for me to see, and jokes with a smile. I just did you a favor. A simple thank you isn't quite enough, is it? Would you mind giving me one of your business cards? The request catches me off guard for a moment, but I recover quickly. After rummaging through my things, I can't find any cards. I look up apologetically. Sorry. No worries. She produces a pen seemingly from nowhere and extends the back of her hand toward me. Your number, if you wouldn't mind, right here on my hand. I hesitate for a moment, then take the pen and write out a long string of digits on her hand. After moving into the new apartment, I spend several busy days finally getting the place in order. That evening, I receive word that all exchange students in my cohort have completed check-in, and there is a welcome ceremony in the auditorium tomorrow. I make a note of the time and head out early the next morning. These past few days, I've taken the chance to wander the campus whenever I'm free, but the university is enormous, and the buildings all look remarkably alike, so I get lost again. With time running out, I am just about to ask someone for directions when my phone rings, an unfamiliar number. I pause for a couple of seconds, then answer. A voice I vaguely recognize comes through, but I can't quite place it. I'm still puzzling over it when someone taps me on the shoulder from behind. I turn around and find Sophia, the one who helped me with the luggage, grinning at me with her phone still held to her ear. It clicks. That's her number. My face breaks into a look of pleasant surprise. We slap hands in a quick greeting. What are you daydreaming about? I tell her honestly about my predicament. At the mention of the auditorium, she immediately says she's heading there too. Well, you can keep me company, and since I know the way, I'll lead. I trust her without question. We weave through the labyrinthine campus together, laughing and talking the whole way. After about 10 minutes of winding turns, Sophia points at the building ahead and tells me, "That's it." I check the photo a senior sent me. It matches exactly. I wave my thanks to Sophia. The welcome ceremony runs for 2 hours. By the time I step out of the auditorium, my back is stiff. I'm still thinking about lunch when someone appears right in front of me. It's Sophia, smiling and asking about my lunch plans. I am at a loss, and she can tell. She smiles, recommends a restaurant nearby, and invites me to join her. I agree and follow her out of the campus. When we arrive, I realize it's a Chinese restaurant. A flicker of surprise crosses my face. You want to take me to a Chinese restaurant? Can you handle it? I've heard it can be hard to adjust to the food here. I wanted today's lunch to be a pleasant experience for you. And I've also been wanting to try Chinese food, so this seemed like the perfect choice. I hadn't expected such thoughtfulness. I don't want to disappoint her. Then let's do it. I'll take the role of host for this meal, and I hope to give you a proper introduction to Chinese cuisine. We walk in talking and find a seat, thanks to Sophia's lively, yet considerate personality. The meal turns out to be genuinely enjoyable. We talk about the differences between Eastern and Western culture, then drift into all the interesting things happening around campus, and before long, we're chatting like old friends. After lunch, Sophia walks me back to my apartment. At the door, her expression turns a little reluctant. Would you do me the honor of joining me for afternoon tea this weekend? The weekend brings rare, perfect weather. I show up happily, and we settle into a relaxed conversation at the garden cafe. A flock of white doves drifts in from the lake, and a feather floats down and lands on my head. Sophia notices and laughs, leaning in to brush it away. We're close enough that from a distance the scene looks quite intimate. I look up at her, a smile in my eyes. Thank you. The words have barely left my lips when my peripheral vision catches something, and my gaze locks in place. The woman standing in the doorway, head wrapped in bandages, face hollow and exhausted. She looks just like Lydia. Before I can look more carefully, the woman is already bearing down on us. She lowers her bloodshot eyes, surveying the table of pastries from above, her gaze darting between the two of us. Who is she? That voice. I confirm it immediately. This is Lydia. I have no idea how she tracked me here, but her showing up doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I always knew she would follow me to Italy eventually. In Lydia's mind, I am prey she already owns. She would never allow me to slip out from under her watch. I have been ready for this reunion. So when she comes at me with that hostile tone, I stay completely composed. A new friend. Friend? What kind of friend? Girlfriend, is she? The last few words come out through gritted teeth. She never imagined that after dragging herself here half-wounded across thousands of miles, ready to lay everything bare, she would walk in on me on what looks like a date. A few days abroad and he's already found someone new? Didn't he pursue her for 2 years, get turned down 99 times without giving up? Wasn't the 100th time supposed to be the one? So why is he going back on his word? You forgot? I don't give her the chance to dredge up the past. Honestly, chasing after you wasn't exactly my proudest chapter. Why shouldn't I forget it? Beyond your looks, there's nothing particularly remarkable about you. I've moved on. If I want to explore other options, do I need your permission? The words hit Lydia like cold water to the face. She stares at me in disbelief, eyes full of suspicion. Ethan, what happened to you these past few days? We had an agreement. I've been great, actually. Eating well, sleeping well. Thanks to you, I even had time for a little vacation. You, on the other hand, showing up out of nowhere. That I'm not pleased about. If you can take a hint, please leave this cafe. Frankly, you're interrupting my time with Sophia. I say it breezily, as if it is the most natural thing in the world. The casual dismissal drains what little color is left in Lydia's face. It dawns on her for the first time. Things have truly slipped, beyond her control. I was wrong before. I shouldn't have used your feelings against you. I'm sorry, Ethan. Please forgive me. Just give me one more chance. I glance at her trembling hands, raise an eyebrow, and let a note of sarcasm into my voice. I'm not worthy of an apology from the campus beauty. Don't worry. We're strangers from here on out. You don't need to lose any sleep over me coming after you. She She sees the resolve in my eyes and knows I am not bluffing. Panic surges through her, and without thinking she grabs my hand, gripping hard enough to make me wince. Sophia, who hasn't understood a word of our exchange, initially assumes we're just catching up like friends, but when she sees my hand going red from Lydia's grip, she quickly stands to intervene. To Lydia, this is a provocation. Without a second thought, she shoves Sophia's hand away. Sophia stumbles back a few steps. Lydia gives her a cold, dismissive look and tries to drag me out. Sophia steadies herself against the wall. She sees me resisting and slaps Lydia across the face. The two women are at each other in an instant. Several customers, afraid of getting caught in the middle, pour toward the exit. The owner on the second floor calls the police without delay. Officers pull the two apart and bring them both back to the station. Lydia's head bandages have been ripped off in the struggle, exposing the raw wound beneath. The officers visibly recoil at the sight. They instinctively assume Sophia was assaulting someone already injured. Sophia protests vigorously, and Lydia, battered as she is, gives just as good as she gets, insisting Sophia through the first blow. They argue for what feels like half the day, nearly shattering the officers' eardrums, with no clear resolution as to who started it. Left with no other option, the officer turns to the only eyewitness present, me. Sir, could you please describe what you witnessed at the scene? At those words, both women turn in unison, fixing their urgent stares on me. I don't hesitate. I raise my hand and point directly at Lydia. She pushed first. Lydia goes rigid, standing completely frozen, unable to believe I've named her. Her voice trembles. I just pushed her once. She's the one who hit me. Ethan, why would you? The sentence breaks off. A flash of clarity cuts through her, and in an instant she understands exactly why I said what I said. He's paying me back. He wants me to know what it feels like to be falsely accused. The realization leaves her speechless. The officer doesn't understand Chinese and asks me to translate. I keep things simple and factual. I was having lunch with Sophia. This woman barged in, caused a disturbance, tried to forcibly take me away against my will, and then shoved Sophia. That's what triggered the fight. The last flicker of hope inside Lydia is extinguished completely. She opens her mouth, her voice rasping and hollow. You'll never stand on my side again, will you? I glance at her sideways and give a cool smile. I'm an honest person. I stand on the side of the truth. Lydia still can't let go. She presses on. Then if she had pushed me first, would you have honestly said so? Do you even need to ask? We're strangers, Lydia. Sophia is young and doesn't deserve any of this. Of course I'm going to look out for my friend. I drop that line and walk away without another glance at her face. With my testimony and security footage pulled quickly, the truth is confirmed in no time. Lydia is detained for causing a disturbance as a foreign national. I wait for Sophia to be released and offer her both my thanks and my apologies. She waves it off, unfazed by her minor injuries, and instead says today was interrupted so she'd like to plan something for next week. I think it over carefully. Sophia is undeniably beautiful, but given today's events, I'm not entirely convinced she handled things with the most mature judgment. I also know Lydia won't let this go easily, and I don't want to drag Sophia into more trouble, or find myself at the police station again. I can sense Sophia has feelings beyond friendship, but I am no longer the kind of person who acts on impulse. So in the end, I politely decline. For the next month and a half, I don't see Lydia at all. Life settles back into a steady rhythm. Sophia reaches out twice more, but after I decline again, things between us quietly fade to nothing. I feel no particular sadness over it. In this foreign country, knowing my way around a kitchen turns out to be a passport of sorts. I fit in with the international student crowd quickly. Just as I am nearly forgetting Lydia exists, she appears again. She shows up with several carloads of rose balloons, blocking my path on campus. I look around at all the curious stares and find myself, for once, at a total loss for words. Lydia ignores my expression entirely and lays everything out. Ethan, if I pursue you 100 times, will you give me another chance? A few months ago, hearing this might have broken me down completely. Now I am not only unmoved, it makes my skin crawl. What a soap opera. What painfully sentimental lines. Was I out of my mind back then? I actually did this, in public, time and again. Looking back, I don't even feel wistful anymore, just deeply embarrassed. At this moment, I have completely tuned Lydia out. After a long wait with no answer, panic creeps into Lydia. She becomes visibly uneasy and searches my face anxiously. I deliberately look past her and wave at someone in the distance. Hey Chloe, Yuki, where are you headed? Lydia follows my gaze and realizes I was waving at someone else entirely. Her heart plummets. Lydia, Ethan! Before Lydia can continue, the one called Chloe walks over, her tone warmly familiar. We're going camping. Want to join? The weather is clear, the weekend is open, and there is a very inconvenient problem standing right in front of me. I have every reason to say yes, and I do. I ask Chloe about the evening's plans. We talk naturally, neither of us sparing Lydia so much as a glance, and I walk off with the group. Watching us disappear into the distance, Lydia's face turns chalk white. She clenches her fists, and the look she sends after Chloe is full of wounded jealousy. Lydia follows us all the way out to the countryside. Across the river, she has a clear view of everything happening on the other side. 7 or 8 students are gathered together in lively celebration. The atmosphere is warm and spirited. She has no way in, she can only watch from afar. But the more she watches me, the heavier her chest becomes. No matter what I do, Chloe is at my side. The distance between us never exceeds 10 paces, and it keeps shrinking. The particular closeness sets Lydia's eyes burning with envy. She wants nothing more than to march over and pull me away, but she knows that if she does, it will only make me angrier. She doesn't want the rift between us to deepen, so she forces herself to do nothing that would make things worse. She swallows down the burning tangle of emotions and tells herself to endure. She endures for 6 hours. As the sky slowly darkens, we light a bonfire, the party full of noise and warmth. The energy is electric. The noise starts to wear on me. I find myself restless and slip away to the riverbank alone for a breath of air. Lydia seizes the moment. She walks over to me. Ethan, I have something to say to you. I'm in a decent enough mood today, but the sight of her still irritates me. I'd rather not, honestly. I turn to leave. Lydia panics and grabs my hand, her eyes full of desperation. Just a few minutes, Ethan. There are things I've been wanting to say for a very long time. That gets my attention. I finally look up at her, my expression unreadable. A very long time? Like what? That you fell for me at first sight 2 years ago? By the end, there is clear mockery in my voice. Lydia goes rigid, as if struck by lightning. She never imagined she would hear the secret she thought she had buried so carefully, spoken aloud by me. I don't bother with her reaction. The sarcasm on my face deepens. Lydia, think about it honestly. If you said those words out loud, not just to me but to anyone, even yourself, would you actually believe them? What kind of secret feelings stay perfectly hidden for 2 full years without a single leak? Who turns down the person they're supposedly in love with 99 times, in public, just to protect their own ego? And who, at every single moment of crisis or pain, consistently shoves the person they claim to love straight into the opposing corner? Is that love? It sounds a lot more like hatred to me. Lydia's mind goes completely blank as the words hit her. She desperately wants to deny it all, but not a single rebuttal comes to her. Only hollow, feeble words. That's not it, Ethan. I really do like you. Everyone around me knows it. They can all vouch for me. Since I had no idea, how was who you liked any of my business? From where I stood, the person you cared about from start to finish was Julian. Go tell him all about your undying devotion. Pour your heart out to him. You two were perfectly matched, and the whole thing made me sick from beginning to end. The undisguised disgust on my face is the last thing Lydia can take. Her body shakes uncontrollably, yet she refuses to let go, stubbornly trying to hold me there. I have no patience left for this. I pull my hand free and turn to leave. The instant our hands part, Lydia feels as if she is losing everything at once. A dull, crushing ache spreading through her chest. All the strength drains out of her at once, leaving her swaying as though she might fall. I look away without effort, walking back to the group with a light step. I assume that once everything has been said, Lydia will finally give up. I am very quickly proven wrong. She simply cannot take no for an answer. For the next several months, anytime I step outside, I can count on spotting her within 20 meters. Every few days, she shows up in front of me with some elaborate gesture, calling it a confession of love. Once, twice, by the third time, I have already stopped counting. Faced with her single-minded obsession, I give her nothing. I ignore her when I can, and when I can't, I call security, and have her removed on the grounds of disrupting the peace. Word spreads quickly. Before long, the entire campus knows who Lydia is, and knows all about her relentless pursuit. Wherever she goes, people point and whisper. She doesn't seem to care. Her eyes stay fixed on my back. She believes that if she just keeps going, she will eventually reach me. Reality has other plans. Not only do I show no sign of being moved, I accept the attention of other women right in front of her. Lydia can only watch as I grow closer with the women around me. Slowly, Lydia begins to grow accustomed to the sight of me surrounded by admirers. She reluctantly admits to herself that I was right. I was never her property to keep. After rejection upon rejection, she goes numb. No matter what cutting thing I say or what cold look I give her, she no longer feels the sting. She counts each attempt from 1 to 50 as winter turns to spring and spring fades into early summer. She assumes the days will continue in this dull pattern, 50 to 100, maybe even 101. Lydia never intends to quit. Just when she believes she can finally be indifferent to anything, I appear in front of her holding a woman's hand, smiling as I introduce her to the people around us as my girlfriend. In that moment, Lydia feels the sky caving in. She loses all reason and charges forward to confront me. But before she gets close, the patrolling security guard steps in her path. From behind the human barrier, her eyes blazing red, she screams, "Why?" My gaze rests on her for just a second. My voice is utterly flat. I'm young, I have money, and I have all the time in the world. What's wrong with dating someone beautiful? Does that somehow inconvenience you? Lydia falls apart for a long time after that. She drinks alone at bars, night after night until she can barely stand. Every morning she wakes to an empty room and slides helplessly back into the pain. She wants to find me, to beg me to break it off, but every time she gets close and sees me smiling and hand in hand with my girlfriend, her courage fails her completely. Only now does Lydia truly understand what it feels like. But it's far too late. She ignores every plea from friends and family and insists on staying abroad, determined to see this through to some kind of ending. When the summer heat begins to break, Lydia finally hears that I've broken up. She goes to find me, half smiling, ready to comfort me. But once again, nothing goes as she expects. I show no sign of heartbreak whatsoever. The way I look at her is no different from months ago. Lydia's smile stiffens. She tests the water carefully. "Are you doing all right? Did it hurt?" I arrange my face into a perfectly polite smile. We parted on good terms, completely mutual. There's nothing to hurt about. She relaxes just barely, and then a single offhand line from me cuts the moment short. Besides, even if I had been hurt, what would that be compared to what I went through over the past 2 years? You were there for all of it. No need to shed crocodile tears now. The final jab sends Lydia scrambling to explain herself, but I give her no opening. I can explain what happened back then, Ethan. All right, enough. I'm already tired of it. Lydia, please stop performing for me. I don't have any appreciation left for your act. If you need an audience, go back home to Julian and your little circle. I'm sure they'll be happy to play along. The words leave Lydia flushed and speechless. I push past her and walk straight toward the academic building. I'm glad I've gotten everyone around me to use my English name by now. Everyone here calls me by it. Hardly anyone knows that I'm the Ethan who was on the receiving end of all those public confessions. By this point, Lydia has run out of ideas. After 99 attempts, none of which have moved me, she is truly at a loss. It is only with a friend's suggestion that she comes up with something for the final try. For the 100th confession, she chooses the small garden on campus. In the garden, she arranges an enormous domino display, spelling out the scene from the very first time we met. She hangs strings of fairy lights from the treetops and plans to light candles throughout the garden at night to bring me back to that beginning. To lure me there, Lydia enlists a small army of people and draws up dozens of contingency plans. This time, she is determined to make me understand that she truly fell for me from the very first moment and that her remorse now is just as real. Everything is in place. The time arrives, and I don't show up. Lydia completely unravels. She drives frantically to every place she can think of, searching. At 9 o'clock, an alarm sounds. The dark garden floods with light. Balloons rise into the air, petals and feathers drift down from above, and the soft notes of a piano ripple through the trees. Clack after clack, the dominoes begin to fall on their own, one per second, steady and relentless. After more than 10 minutes, the final piece falls, and every candle in the garden ignites at once. But Lydia feels every ounce of strength drain from her body. When the last moment settles, her phone rings. It's an unknown international number, but the moment she picks up, she recognizes my voice. "I hear you've arranged the 100th confession for tonight. What a pity. I'm back in China at the moment. My apologies." Lydia swallows the pain and the bitterness and forces a light tone. "It's fine. I'm already happy just to hear from you. If you're willing, I can always plan 101st, 102nd. Her voice carries a trace of hope. She is already half dreaming of forgiveness. "No need for that. I'm calling tonight to tell you two things." Lydia's throat tightens. Her grip on the phone tightens with it. "The first thing, a friendly reminder. It's winter and the air is dry. When you're done with your little display, please blow out every one of those candles. We wouldn't want a fire." At those words, Lydia looks up and sees a shower of dry leaves drifting slowly down around her. "The second thing, some good news. I'm in a new relationship. This girlfriend is, if anything, a little more beautiful than the last. You can stop at 100. A few short sentences, yet in Lydia's mind, they set off an avalanche of memories. In an instant, she feels as though a curse has been cast. A piercing, searing pain shoots through her forehead. Overwhelmed by the pain, she loses all grip. The phone slides from her hand and cracks against a candle stand. Within moments, fire tears through the garden, but she doesn't run. She doesn't call out. She stands there motionless like a statue, becoming part of the burning scene around her. By the time the night is over, every tree in the garden has been reduced to ash. The one mercy is that there are no casualties. Firefighters arrive in time to pull her out, barely conscious, nearly overcome by smoke. She survives by a narrow margin, but the fire sends Tsinghua University's administration into a fury. They announce they will pursue full accountability. As the primary suspect, Lydia is arrested and detained. The Lin family is frantic when they hear the news. They pull every string they have to protect her. But this is an international case, and there is no walking away clean. In the end, the family surrenders the better part of their assets in compensation before Tsinghua University finally agrees to settle. Given the severity of the damage caused, Lydia serves 6 months in prison, is placed on the European no-entry list, and is deported, permanently barred from returning. The moment she is released, she is taken directly to the airport and sent home. Looking around at the crowds in summer clothes, Lydia, still dazed, as if waking from a long dream, slowly comes back to herself. It's already summer. Months have passed, and she has not come to see me even once. The realization stirs something complicated in her chest. She can't tell if it's disappointment or desolation. There's still time ahead. There will be another chance to meet, she tells herself. That is the only comfort she can manage. Then she turns and sees me walking out from the street corner, a beautiful woman's hand in mine. From photos her friends have sent, she recognizes this as my girlfriend. I happen to look up and notice her. In a rare move, I greet her with genuine warmth, then very openly fill her in. "Hey, long time no see. I just got back from a trip to Germany. And look at you, you're out. Time really flies. Let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend Veronica." After Lydia returns to China, she eventually sends me a message through a mutual contact, asking whether any of it had ever been real or just a performance. I don't reply. By now I see Lydia with complete clarity. She speaks of loving me, but the only person she has ever truly loved is herself. To her, I was nothing more than a trophy, something beautiful to show off. In my second year abroad, I seize every opportunity to enter competitions. Time passes steadily, and before long, 3 years of exchange studies come to an end. I return to China with a suitcase full of gold awards. The moment I step off the plane, I see my parents and my old roommates waiting with flowers. As for Lydia, I know she no longer holds any ticket into my life. We are nothing more than two strangers in the vast crowd, passing each other by.